Celestia, the floating palace that's been taunting us since day 1 of Genshin Impact. It's moved around between updates, now hovering over what will likely be Fontaine in the future. It's even undergone a major update. What was originally a 2D sprite is now a fully rendered 3D model. It's enough to make one think that maybe, just maybe, we'll be going there sooner than we think. Going to Celestia. Given its location out of bounds and far above the surface, and given the kind of stuff I cover on this channel, going there has been requested many times by viewers. Unfortunately, the tricks needed for the job just weren't available. Should flying be solved, there remained the issue of the Paimon barrier. And should the Paimon barrier be solved, there remained the problem of flying. These two things were never solved in tandem, but that all changes right now. There's a simple glitch making its way around the internet, the nahida swing glitch. To be honest, that's a bit of a misnomer, because any character can do it, but we'll get to that another time, as I plan to make a follow-up video thoroughly detailing this glitch. This glitch allows one to fly around using Nahida's idle animation, like so. After thorough testing, I've found that this glitch is just the start of something much greater. That something? The return of version 1.0's legendary photo mode glitch. Well, sort of. Let's set off now, our destination in sight, Celestia. Prepared for takeoff? T-3, 2, 1. It's great to be able to do this again. I've missed this glitch so much. It's the closest thing we'll probably get to a free camera mode, and it's temporary, as it's already slated to be patched. Well, let's make the most out of it and take in these wondrous views as we continue onwards. Up we go. We're nearly at the height required. And perhaps you're now wondering about those two conditions I mentioned earlier. The ones that were never before both met at the same time. We've achieved the height, but what about the Paimon barrier? The pesky barrier that teleports one to Springvale if they are behind it for more than a few seconds. That is solved by the second phase of the glitch, literally walking on air. While walking like this, the Paimon barrier cannot teleport us away. Nilou charges straight ahead, ignoring Paimon's insistence. Unfortunately, we're locked into only moving forward, which presents one minor issue, getting the right trajectory. I messed up this first time, as you can see, but this in its own right is quite interesting. We can see far into the distance, all of Liyue and Sumeru, and beyond even the desert. Way beyond the desert. Wow, that is a ton of extra land. Even though I'd missed Celestia on the first attempt, there was something else I wanted to see. If this glitch could pass the Paimon barrier undeterred, could it also pass the Void Out Zone? To clarify, by Void Out Zone, I mean the lowest point out of bounds in a map before the player is teleported away. Because while walking through air like this, Nilou is slowly falling. If I let this continue, she will eventually pass through the ground and near the Void Out Zone. Can see Celestia still? And that strange stack of shapes over there? That's the desert. I wasn't too sure how much farther I needed to fall, but then reality started to tear asunder, so I knew that I had passed below the Void Out Zone. That was that, I decided, and I ended the glitch. Between the Paimon barrier and Void Out Zone, it looks like I got voided out, because I ended up where I was last standing instead of in Springvale. Time for the second flight. Trajectory looks good, slightly off, but not enough that I'll be super far away. At current course, I should pass by just over top on the north side. It's vanishing, or rather, it looks like it's sinking into the ground? I'm well aware that Celestia vanished at certain spots on the map back when it was 2D, but... Alright. First glance says that this is unexpected, but I suppose given what we've seen in the desert back in 3.0, with the top of the Deshret pyramid vanishing when getting close, and the same in 3.1 and 3.2 with that giant sandstorm and cyclone, it's not unprecedented. However, is that really what's happening here? Those were instantaneous. One moment it's there, the next, it's gone. This looks gradual. I decided to move to a different takeoff platform and try again. Here's a good still shot of it. Can really make out the 3D model here. Anyways, on this attempt, Celestia once again vanished underground. It was on the next trip that I realized what might be happening. This time, it was only halfway obstructed by large rock formations. So either Celestia starts having layering priority issues when up close, or the way they designed Celestia to be displayed is getting bugged because players were never supposed to see it from above, as this never happened when I was more level with it. I mean, in that earlier footage, Celestia basically crashed into the ground. We're really close now, but I think we can get closer yet. We just need to solve the trajectory problem. Being a 3D game, we're dealing with 3 axes. For this to be possible, that needs to be knocked down to 2. Up until now, I've been using Starfall Sword to launch my character. It's very inconsistent, and even in the most perfect setups, there's still a slight x-axis movement. The x-axis has to go, because even the slightest influence on it will cause us to be way off course, given how far away from our destination we are. I've got the z-axis figured out already. The character can only walk in the direction they're facing. Cool, they won't deviate. It'll be a straight line on the z-axis. I need a straight line on the y-axis, with no influence at all on the x-axis. I thought of using elevators, but the only ones available are at Longshu Inn and Tatarasuna, both of which conflict with aligning our character towards Celestia. As such, instead of going to the elevator, I need to bring the elevator to me. The solution? My friend's albedo. Oh, you have got to be kidding me. Albedo's skill isn't a flat surface. I tried from hovering, as you just saw, and from ground level, where I learned another ridiculous truth. Idle animations block his skill. Of all the things that can interrupt it, that's got to be the most absurd. So much for the elevator. I would just have to minimize the x-axis movement caused by Starfall Sword. We set out to search for new locations as we played around with the glitch, and the following day, I went back in solo at one of the most consistent locations we found, the Mondstadt Bridge. Look at that beautiful trajectory. Barely any horizontal movement. I even had Nilou angled slightly to the side before starting this, since I knew it'd be impossible to fully remove x-axis influence. It was down to getting the height correct. I stalled just before the Paimon barrier to let her fall for a while, because once the Paimon barrier had hold of Nilou, there'd be no chance to adjust her height from the ground. We're very close now. Despite having what looked like the perfect trajectory, it seems I was still ever slightly off. But this is fine. I should pass by on the left side. Okay. Is it getting smaller? It's totally gotten smaller. You're telling me that puny transparent island is the mighty Celestia? The towering palace we see in the sky from everywhere in Teyvat? What kind of backwards logic is this? Something getting smaller the closer you get to it? Teyvat laws, I tell ya. Well, a bit anticlimactic, but that's Celestia as it is in version 3.2 of Genshin Impact. Perhaps it's possible to get closer yet, but with it shrinking and becoming more transparent the closer one gets, then who knows? It may completely vanish once you're on top of it, or it'll be so tiny that it's smaller than your character. Thanks for tagging along on this crazy skybound adventure. Going to Celestia is cool and all, but really, this glitch's best feature is the ability to get amazing shots at Teyvat from far above. I'll be putting out a tutorial and compilation of all my observations with this glitch in a few days, so do make sure to subscribe and keep your eyes out for it. And feel free to follow on Twitter at Moosashi if sneak peeks at stuff like this is your cup of tea. This is Moosashi, signing off. Till next time.